long-time member of the committee and has held many positions within the club, here to talk to us. Mary, I suppose to start off, maybe could you tell us a little bit about, say, the formation of the club and say, moving into your earlier memories then of Rosemount GAA?
Well, from writing the histories of the GAA, I have a fairly good knowledge, but in 1924 the club was formed, and ironically George Smith was its first secretary and Jim McNeil was its first treasurer, and today Yvonne, their grandniece, is secretary of our club today. Anyway, they formed in 1924 and no much success for the first couple of years. In 1928 they won their first junior final. And amazingly on that team, Anthony Mullen played on that team, and his grandson Declan is playing on our present team today. They went on to win 32 and 34 senior championships, and then 2-3 in a row, 1939, 40, 41 and 51, 2 and 3. And the last senior championship was in 1989. In the intervening years, they sadly dropped down to junior in 2007, but regained intermediate status straight away, and they won the intermediate final in 2016. Sadly, we're gone back down intermediate again. But however, that's the kind of short history of the GAA. In 1984, I became secretary. And as it happened, it was centenary, the centenary of the GAA. So we decided to have a reunion of all past footballers. At that time, it was a mammoth task. No computers, no mobile phones, no nothing. So a lot of letter writing and travelling. But anyway, we eventually had the reunion in the Grand Hotel, and it was a fantastic success. It formed lifelong friendships. I'm still writing to those people ever since, and sadly, of all those teams, 51, 2, 3, there's just one man alive, Billy Lynham. Oliver O'Rourke died in November. We went to see him several times every year, and he was 98 last August, and he wrote a very nice article for our booklet, which will be produced at the weekend. A very interesting man who had played with Tubberclare and had a disagreement with them, and we got him luckily enough, and he was corner forward and top scorer in 51, half forward and top scorer in 51, 2 and 3. So he was a great addition to the club. From then on, in 1986, I remember being at Mass in the church one day. It must have been a GAA Mass, and the then chairman, Seamus Whelan, said to us, what about writing the history of Rosemount GAA? So we said we'd give it a go, so we formed a little committee of Joe Kane, Joe Fox, Tom Darcy, PJ Mullen, Father Jimmy Murray, and myself, and we set to a lot of trawling to the examiner office and up in the attic and rooting through papers, and eventually the book was launched in March 1989.
And aptly named The Black and Amber Story.
And aptly named The Black and Amber Story, and it was a wonderful experience while very busy at the time. And at that time Father Murray was principal in Turrenure, and he drove down 3 nights a week to help us with this book. We also had Paddy Flanagan, who was a great help. The book was launched in 1989 in March, and imagine that year we won the county final in September. So it was a good omen. It was a great success, and then I was secretary for a couple of years, and then I had a little rest and I became secretary again later on. So in 2012 we updated the Black and Amber Story and the whole parish, and we, with another committee, a very good committee, we wrote the Rosemount 2012. So that brought us up to now, and we've now compiled a little booklet for the centenary, and hopefully it's difficult to cover 100 years in a small book, but we've done our best and tried to get something in from every decade. Funnily enough, in the 70s we do not have any pictures. There is no photograph of the 51-2-3 team, only one bad one, because they felt it was bad luck. to take a photograph. Imagine being in the county final and they said it was bad luck to take a photograph. So there's no photograph of a team that won 3 in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, they're lean years for pictures, and because there were no phones, no cameras, no nothing, and we didn't win anything in the 70s either. Now they got to the semi-final a couple of times, but we didn't win anything. And unfortunately for that team, who the Kings and the Mullins and Charlie Tone and all James Egan and all them were on that team, and they were great footballers, but they never won anything, which was very unfortunate. That was the 70s, and then in Comorton and Mullinskull started then in the 70s, and we had great success, winning 6 in a row, and that sowed the seeds for under 16. We had one under 16 in 77 and 76 and 77, and then we won the minor in 1980. So that was the first big thing we won, and a lot of that minor team went ahead to play in 1989. Pat Fox and Ducky Healy and Frank Lanham and all those. They were all on that minor team in 1980, and they went on to play in 1989. Then after that, we won the junior and we won the intermediate, and we're now intermediate, and we have a very good club. We're very proud of the club and our facilities, and my God, what facilities we have. We should be so proud. So much has been done over the last 10 years, I suppose, 10 maybe, with the Tarmac Academy and the Social Initiative Stand, which is the first in the country, and the gym and the walking track, and a lot of improvements and great facilities for the youth of today, and I know they appreciate them, and I hope they'll make good use of them.
And I suppose it's ironic that it's 40 years since you became secretary, and we were celebrating the centenary of the GAA, and now we're celebrating the centenary of Rosemount GAA. And you mentioned a little break there, but you had loads of other jobs within the club as well.
Oh yeah, well I took up the lotto then in 1993, which is 33 years ago, and I'm still there every second Monday night, and sure it was a great success, and I was very involved in the 300 Club as well when that was running. We organised that. And I suppose for 25 to 30 years I did first aid for all the teams, and sure it was a great experience, and that's how I got to know all the players, and I really enjoyed it, and they were so nice, they were all so nice, and that's how I have such a knowledge of all the matches and the games. And
I'd say I'd say you've noticed some big changes in the club since you got involved in the 80s and in the present day, and
huge. And the biggest change of all is that you go to a meeting now, and in 2 minutes the agenda is all typed up, and everything is done on the phone, and bills paid by phone, and all that is all so new, so new. But I was just looking in my research the other night at 1984 at the annual report, Treasurer's report for 1984, and we took in 3,000 and spent 3,000 in 1984. Wow. It's incredible that now it could be 98,000. Yeah. It's just incredible the way it has all changed. Yeah. But now there are more teams, there are more expenses, and I suppose there are more members too, which is great. And of course Killoega coming along too was a great thing for the girls and the boys. Absolutely. And in view of the falling numbers.
And I think a little bit of nostalgia as well. There was a camogie team set up in Rosemount. I think you were a member of that one time.
I was. It didn't last very long. I suppose it was. I suppose I was probably 15 or 16 at the time, and then I went off to do nurse training at 18. So and everyone else my age were on that team. All went to do their various jobs, and it fell apart. But it was great fun at the time. But bear in mind, we had to cycle to Ballymore to play a match, and we had to cycle to Kilbeggan to play a match, and it was all hard work, but enjoyable at the same time. Yeah.
And I suppose, say, with the year that's in it, then there's some really exciting celebrations planned for the weekend ahead. Can you tell us a little bit about what's involved there?
Oh, it's marvellous. It's absolutely marvellous, and I just can't believe that there are such a crowd coming. But there are maybe 13 or 14 coming from America, and that says it all. I just think that's magnificent. Yeah. Patrick Spellman is coming home now, and he was on the Comorton and Bunskull team that won in 1984. 40 years ago he was captain of the Comortis team in 1984. But it's great to see all them coming back, and the Kevin Kellys of this world are all coming, and we hope we hope we have done a good job, and we hope tomorrow morning's mass will be nice and that people will come and then go to the hill, and then we have our dinner and chat and celebrate and all the young people. And the young committee, I have to give them great praise. They're magnificent, absolutely magnificent. Just mention something and it's done. They're fantastic. They're a great committee. It's a very good community. A very good community. Yeah, anything you want done, it'll get done. It'll get done. It will. Yeah, it's a great experience. It always a great experience. I enjoyed every single solitary minute I spent at it. But sadly, I'm getting old, and I'll be doing less.
I don't know about that.
I will be
done
doing
without you.
I will be doing less.
I suppose to finish up, so what do you think the men and women of the 1920s that formed the club, what do you think they would think today if they were to see the club?
Oh, I think they would not. It wouldn't believe it. They just wouldn't believe it. And I think if the old men came and sat in this, they'd think they were in Crow Park. They would think they were in Crow Park, because it's like Crow Park sitting here. Yeah. It is. But the facilities, everything laid on. Great committees, great underage structures. Just we have to keep it going. That's the only thing. So all the young people, it's great now. We have a lot of new houses in the parish, a lot of new houses and new families, and hopefully that's a positive for the future. And I hope I'm alive to see more success.
Please God.
Please God.
Mary, thanks very much for your time.
All right. Thank you, Mary.